Today we are going to take a look at how you can use Java to create and interact with FHIR resources. Now, I have a simple app here that is I built using Maven. You can use any package manager. Now, the HAPI FHIR library is what we are going to use. HAPI FHIR is maintained by SmileCDR group, and it's actually the reference implementation in Java for FHIR. Okay, so now there are instructions on how you can install this in your own system. So what we are going to do is we are using Maven, so we are just going to copy and paste this, and I want to use the FHIR version R4. So this is this is the only dependency that we need. So I'm going to copy this. Go back into Visual Studio here, and I am going to add this along with my dependency. Now you can actually replace this project.version as a property here, or you can just replace it in place. I'm just going to show you an example. So I'm just going to see what the latest version of HAPI FHIR is. It's version 8.0.0. So I'm going to just replace that here. So don't include the V, just say 8.0.0, and you can see that that resolves. So once you have this, you need to understand a bit about what FHIR resources are, right? So FHIR basically just defines what different domains in like the different domain objects in healthcare should look like. So you have a patient object, and it tells you that these are all the different fields for a patient object. And you can easily look at a JSON example here to get an idea of what this looks like. Now, Java makes it very easy for us to kind of generate these, especially with the HAPI FHIR library. So what we are going to do is we are going to try and create a FHIR patient resource using the HAPI FHIR library. Now, let's see what we can do first. So all you need to do is, let's say you want to create a new patient. You just say patient, let's type it properly. And again, because we have this installed and this is VS Code, I have IntelliSense on. So I can just say patient equal to new patient, right? And it'll automatically import this model from the HAPI FHIR library. Now, once I have this, they have convenience methods that you can use to add data to this. So let's say I want to say my name is Siddharth Ramesh, right? So that would go under name, and under name, it's actually a type of human name. And again, under human name, there is a given, which is an array of strings because it's 0 to multiple, and family is one single string, right? It's quite complex, but then the HAPI FHIR library has this interface called the Fluent Builder. I think I'll show you what that looks like in here. So this is when you get to working with resources, you have a good section on how all of this works. I'll leave a link to this down below. But in our case, all we need to do to add a name is say patient.add name. And once we have that, I want to add a given name to that, right? So whenever there are multiple, so for example, I can also do set given, right? But then I need to set a list of different things, and I really don't want to do that. I just have one given name. So you can just say add given and say Siddharth, right? And you can continue here and then say set family, and I can say Ramesh, okay? Now that's about it. You have created a FHIR resource with this. And in fact, if we system.out this, let's see what that looks like. System.out.println patient. This is actually going to return an object that looks like this. This is not what we want. We want a JSON representation of this, right? So let's remove this line. Now to convert it between JSON and to parse and serialize, they have this section here on parsing and serializing. But the fundamental idea here is that you have something called a FHIR context. And depending on which version of FHIR you're working with, it kind of parses and serializes this slightly differently, right? So let's actually create a new context. So we'll say FHIR context. Let's just call it CTX equals FHIR context dot And then we have to choose the version that we want to work with. In this case, R4, which is also likely the version that you are probably going to use. It's going to be R4 or R4B, and maybe in the future it's going to be R6. Not a lot of people are using R5 today, but let's see. So once we have this, we can actually use this to convert this into JSON. Let's see, ctx dot new JSON parser. Now it's called parser, but this also serializes and deserializes. So let's just, you can actually use it as it is, or you can kind of put it into its own object. In this case, I'm just going to say encode resource to string, and then encode the patient resource. Then call a string JSON patient. Then let's console.log the JSON patient. And let's, again, we can just use this convenience method here to run this. And you can see, perfect. You have a resource type of patient, name, family. This is a fully valid FHIR resource. Now it complains of the SL4J warning, but then you can kind of get rid of that by just adding a few dependencies that takes care of the logging. Now let's carry on and let's try to add something more. Let's say we want to add another field like telecom, right? Like let's say we want to add an email ID. So let's just add that in here. Let's say patient.add telecom. And again, it's very intuitive because this name or this method is always the same as what you see in the spec itself, right? So if you see telecom here, you know that it's going to be add telecom. And it's because it's 0 to many that this is always going to be add. In case it's a singular thing, like for example, active, then it will be called set active. So for example, you can even search active. And it's actually always set active, right? Like because it's a singular thing. So I'm going to say active is true, patient.set gender. And again, because gender is, there is only one gender associated with the patient. It's 0 to 1. It's always set, right? Now, and again, it tells you what type it expects. So it's the administrative gender. So let's import that. Administrative gender dot male, right? And let's add the semicolons in here. Now finally, let's add a contact detail as well. Patient.add telecom. And let's see what we have here. So telecom is actually type of contact point, and contact point in turn has a system value, and that's basically what we want to use, just the system value. So let's say set system, and this has to be a contact point system. So let's import that. Contact point system, then this is an enum. We want the email dot set value siddharth@medblocks.com. And again, you can reach out to me if you have any queries. I'm always happy to help. And yeah, I mean, this, let's see how this patient looks like now. We've added a contact detail, we've added a gender. Let's run this again. And we see a more like realistic looking FHIR resource. It has a resource type of patient, active, true, name is perfect, telecom is email, and value is siddharth@medblocks.com, and the gender is male. Now, that's about it. I mean, we've created a patient resource using the HAPI FHIR library, and I hope you found that helpful. And we'll be doing a lot more tutorials, so like stay tuned, subscribe if you want to learn more of this. And we always conduct a monthly webinar where we go into how FHIR is used in the real world and how you can really make sense of all of this and become an expert yourself one day. So if you're interested in joining a community of hundreds of other people like you, I'll leave a link to the webinar down below. Just register for it. It's completely free, and we do get a lot of interesting people from around the world join us live. So hopefully I'll see you there. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.